G'day legends, it's Jai, that Aussie metal guy here with Crannk.com. So tonight, wherever you are in the world, it's my absolute pleasure to be joined by Lyric from Lyric Noel. Now, this is a project that has been really building momentum over the past few years, from viral reinterpretations like the incredible metal version of Carol of the Bells, that Cry Little Sister I love, King for a Day was unreal. All those covers are fucking amazing. Right through to the powerful original material we are hearing now. The brand new single, Shades of Black, does mark a huge new chapter for the band as their first release with Judge and Jury Records, and it also opens the door to a much larger conceptual album exploring different mental disorders and the emotional realities behind them. It is heavy, deeply personal, incredibly honest music, and I'm really looking forward to diving into the story behind it all. Lyric, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. What are two, I love starting these questions when I get a little bit longer, but what are two early musical memories that stand out for you? One being your very earliest musical memory of music, and another that really sparked your passion for pursuing music yourself.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I mean, it's really hard to like pinpoint it, but I grew up with my mom, like she was a singer, or she was. Um, and then Disney movies. That's really what started it all for me. And like Pocahontas and The Lion King. Those are my two favorite movies. So obviously the music from those movies. That's how I started. That's when I discovered I had a voice when I was like in daycare,
Yeah,
like
wow.
between like kindergarten and being dropped off at daycare after school. And I remember singing for my friends and stuff. And I was like, anyway, yeah. Uh, and I just kind of discovered that I had a singing voice back then, and I just kind of built on it from there.
Yeah, Lion King is absolutely amazing mu movie for sure. Absolute classic.
It
What kind
is
of music was around you growing up?
country
Country.
and yeah, country and classic rock.
Yep. Were there any particular artists or bands that kind of really shaped your musical taste earlier on?
Like when I was little,
Yeah, I'm
or
kind of, yeah, what shaped your musical taste into the music, the artist that you are today? Like, yeah, into where you are into the metal? Because to go from country, you obviously got to have a broad range of influences
yeah.
well into what you're playing now is vastly
Um,
different.
it is vastly different. Well, I first discovered In Sync when I was like 9. And I still to this day I love Justin Timberlake. If they were to announce a reunion tour, I would go in a heartbeat. If the tickets aren't outrageous. And then Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera, those are my three like pivotal, like, okay, I look up to these people. And then I found Nirvana, and a lot of things changed from then on. And then Kitty, and then Arch Enemy, and then I became more and more immersed into heavy music. And then when I found Sleep Token, it was just like the best of both worlds. Like my love for pop and blues music is now integrated with metal, and so that I will always like that is my favorite band of all time. You will never be able to sway me away from Sleep Token. They'll never make me hate them. I love them so much. So that's where my this they have inspired the current direction of this album, and I'm really pleased with the direction it's heading in.
Yeah, side note, Sleep Token are absolutely amazing. I'm with you on that. I've seen them twice. First time they come to Australia was supporting North Lane at the
Oh
Bridgewater. It's a little
wow,
bit of
God.
yeah, it was a smaller venue, like not as big as because it was a great show because Sleep Token were just amazing. They were just kind of kicking off. And it was a smaller venue, like they're not going to go playing those smaller venues. You're going to be lucky to catch them in some of these smaller venues now. They're playing stadium shows, and they've just were putting on these amazing shows even then at these smaller shows when they were
Did
coming
you get
out
to
to
meet
now.
them?
No, unfortunately not. That
No.
would have been, it was just a great, great bloody show, eh? Both of them.
Yeah, North Lane's great too, but I have to
Oh,
say Sleep Token is my number one.
yeah. So when did you begin exploring your own voice as a vocalist and a performer?
Oh gosh. I mean, like I mentioned earlier at 5,
Yeah.
I guess like, and I've just been Oh, you mean like playing in bands and stuff, or?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When did you kind of start moving out from that and start exploring your own voice and kind of moving out professionally as a vocalist and a performer?
Well, honestly, meeting my husband is really what helped me ascend to where I'm at now because I always try to drive home to everybody that this project would not be what it is if it wasn't for my husband. Like you asked about him earlier. He composes, writes, records, mixes, masters, all of it. Um, so he's the reason I've discovered my voice the way that I have, I guess.
Yeah, so Russell does play such a huge role in the project as guitarist, composer, and producer as well. Tell me a little bit about how the two of you first started collaborating creatively.
Pretty much like when we first started dating. Like I remember I would be like I'd sing songs in my car and record it on my phone and then like just upload it to Facebook. And Russell was friends with me on Facebook and was liking and hearting my stuff and everything. And that's kind of how it all began, Like we would talk till like 5, 6 in the morning, and I'd have to be at work at like 9 a.m. the next day or whatever. And I'd only get 3 hours of sleep, and it was well worth it because I didn't know, but I was talking to the love of my life and the person who was going to help launch both of us. This is his dream too. It's not just mine. So, um, but yeah, that's kind of how that all started. We started putting covers out in 2018, actually.
Yeah, we'll start with a love heart on Facebook. There you go. It did for a lot of people as well. So how did that all eventually evolve into what we know as Lyric Noel today?
Um, I just I decided to start like putting covers out on TikTok,
Yep.
and they started to perform well, and it just evolved from there. Like I got this like wild idea to just to do like, why don't we take a Christmas covers and turn them metal and we'll see what catches fire, and see what sticks. And that's what that's what launched us to begin with, was the Carol of the Bells cover. That's what everybody knows me from, and Cry Little Sister.
Yeah.
Those are the two things that everybody knows me from. Kind of trying to change that with original music, but we'll
Yeah,
get
because
there.
the original music's amazing. Like it kind of was a bit of a snapshot to kind of show a little bit of your influences and who you are. But creating original music is just kind of where it's at as a musician and an artist as well. But you can obviously hear too with some of these covers. Did you do like kind of what I do? You listen to stuff and go, "Oh man, that'd be so much better in metal." And start kind of, is that how you were like? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were kind of doing the chasing trends thing for a
Yeah.
minute, and I just wasn't very happy doing that.
Yeah.
And then I started just like, if I did cover anything, I would cover what I wanted to cover. And then eventually I just kind of decided I didn't want to do it anymore. Not
Yeah.
for a long time, if I do it at all.
Yeah.
I always I just I don't know. I feel like we have so much to offer
Ah,
other than just like doing other people's music, right? And
yep.
it's annoying when you get incels on the internet, by the way. I will say, like, guys will be like, I get comments, do your own music. I'm like, do your research
Yeah, I
because
know.
I have a lot of it. You just don't know because you're an idiot.
Yeah, I had a chat with Stefan from Obscura about keyboard warriors as well. They're always pretty got a lot to say behind their keyboard, but not much in person. The real people and the real fans are where it's at as well. And the band you had behind you are pretty fucking amazing. You do have your husband as well, which is Russell. He's an amazing musician. You got Robbie Gray and Aaron Castillo as well, kind of joined the lineup. How did the band really start taking shape as a full unit?
Carol of the Bells is the reason why we got Jaren. So Jaren was like the third founding member, as it were, right? So
Yeah,
Jaren, he we needed to film a music video for Carol of the Bells, and we had to do it quick because we didn't realize like how fast this song was going to take off. It took off like wildfire, and it took off overnight. And we had so many requests. Well, we want a full version, full version, full version. And so I was like, fuck, we got to rent a space to film a music video, and we need a drummer. So Russell did his due diligence and reached out to one drummer, and he was like, I just don't know if I'm a fit for this. And then Jaron just showed up. I'd never met him before. He shows up on the video shoot with this like black button up shirt and just super professional, and just comes in and slays that shit. That's the first time I ever met Jaron was the video shoot of Carol of the Bells. That's an interesting story about him. And then Robbie actually played in a band with Russell previously, and I just really liked him. And he was in our wedding. And we have two guitarists and no bass player, right? We just go. We I'm not like opposed to the idea of a bassist, but we backtrack bass.
Yeah.
So
So I want to chat about some of your original music because that's where it's at. The original music you guys have made is unreal. You got that Metamorphosis Unplugged, which recent I'll talk about a couple of the more recent singles, but the Blood in the Water, killer track there. Tell us about that one that did drop last year as well.
man, I love Blood in the Water. That's my
Yeah,
favorite. Like I you want to know where I got the inspiration for that song? I'm a huge animal advocate,
yep,
and I'm sure you are too,
yeah. I
being from
love them.
Australia. Um, the documentary Blackfish is where I got my inspiration from, and that's why I'm wearing a wetsuit in the video. And that's why there's water and yeah, so it's basically a representation of what happens whenever you lose your fucking shit and you finally just snap. And that's what these animals did in captivity. They did that one that the documentary is about. He lost his mind, and so he
Yeah,
killed multiple people. And so that's what Blood in the Water's about. Like that's the origin and the like why what inspired it, but it's so vague that you can kind of apply it to yourself in like what happens whenever you finally just snap. So that's
yeah.
what Blood in the Water's about.
Yeah, it's an amazing track. As the music started evolving and the themes and the songs also became much more personally, emotionally honest, it must have been good as an artist to kind of step out of that, as you mentioned, like away from that earlier cover label as well, and to be able to express yourself honestly and more personally as well as an artist and performer.
Did you hear the regular Metamorphosis?
Yes.
You like, okay, cool. I was like, I don't know if you just heard Unplugged or what,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm thinking about doing as this cycle progresses, I'm considering doing a Shades of Black Unplugged. I'm not really sure yet. Just been thinking about it because I've kind of decided I want to do an unplugged for every single cycle. So, but that one I figured was perfect to do it with.
I think you should absolutely go amazingly well. Your music does explore mental health more recently, struggles very openly. What made you decide to approach these themes so directly in your songwriting?
Because that's what I write about anyway,
Yeah,
So I just figured like let's lean into this and make this part of my image and who I am. And there's really no point in like not leaning into that because that's who I am.
well, art and music in general has always been a way of processing these emotions, whether you're the artist or the listener, the music, the listening to the music or you're the musician delivering it as well. There's kind of this reciprocal thing in music as well. I remember a young lad first really getting into metal, locking myself away in the room and just listening to my favorite artist, and that was kind of a way of me processing emotions as well.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't know if it was processing or what, but like it was something. And it shaped who I am today.
Yeah, exactly. As am I, and a lot of people probably watching this as well that will find strength from artists like yourself talking about things like this as well. And the upcoming album, from what I'm reading, explores different mental disorders through characters in each song. This is a great concept. I've seen other artists as well putting it together. It's really great to tackle these themes, and I'm really grateful that artists and the music scene and in general people are starting to talk about these kind of themes. It's not such a hidden thing. Tell me a little bit about how these ideas first came together to kind of piece it together in a whole album.
I don't know. It's just been kind of I kind of started to plan this last year, I
Yep.
guess. I didn't know what I was gonna do. Like what inspired Sun Gazer was the eclipse, actually, which explains a lot, right? But I wanted to throw that into an EP, and then save like everything else for the main album, which would be I didn't have a name for it yet. I do have an idea, a tentative name for it right now, but I'm not ready to unveil that to the world just yet.
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. Before I jump into Shades of Black, I want to talk about that Sincerity track you did there with Butcher Baby, Saliva, Harper, and yourself. Judge and Jury Records signed through to them. That was a pretty cool track as well. Tell me how that worked.
I just got an email from I believe it was Joey Sturgis Tones, and they were like, "Do you want to participate in this?" And I was like, "Sure." It just obviously that experience went well enough for us to feel comfortable to sign with them as a band.
Yeah, exactly. I seen that, and the new single "Shades of Black" explores the personality disorder, borderline personality disorders, and kind of the
I
imagery
have
around
that.
the yeah, yeah mate. I have family too as well. Very very close family that struggle with it as well. Black Dahlia is incredibly powerful. Can you talk about the emotional story behind this song?
Um, you know, when you have borderline personality, you experience the world through multiple shades of darkness. And so that's why they and it's kind of if I don't know if I'm allowed to say the word Asian, and that's just all these different shades. Just I'm just over it. I'm just done. That's what it means. I'm just done.
Yeah. Musically, the band blends heavy, atmospheric, and alt elements together. How do you approach building that sound? I suppose a lot of that's on Russell as well, with the musical side of things. Yeah, because he does an amazing fucking job, eh?
So Russell does most of it, 99%. And then Robbie wrote two songs.
Yep.
He wrote Blood in the Water and he wrote Gravity on the Sun Gazer EP. And then what he does is he rough records this stuff and then gives it to Russell, and then he takes over and adds all the synths, all of the the elements that you're hearing in the song, that like the sinking ship sound and like the all of that. That's Russell. He does all the post stuff, or he did all the post stuff in those songs, but all of those atmospheric sounds that you're hearing, excuse me, I'm so sorry. All of those atmospheric sounds that you're hearing in our music and all of the finite details, that's definitely awesome. He does it all.
Yeah, and we did kind of mention that the Sincerity track you kind of was the first little arcane. We're going to side with Judge and Jury, and Shades of Black is your first release with Judge and Jury Records, which is founded by Howard Benson and Neil Sanderson's a couple of great musicians and producer there as well. How did that partnership come about originally?
We just decided to talk to them and see what they had to say, because we almost signed like a distribution deal.
Yep.
And of my really good friend over in Stitched Up Heart, um, Mixie, she was like, "Why don't you talk to my label, because they really like you guys?" And I was like, "Okay." So we talked to them, and this is that's how it wound up like this.
Yeah, they got a bunch of great artists on there as well. I won't
They
even go
do.
through that. Yeah, and there's some really good artists dropping some really great stuff recently as well. I did chat with 12 Stones, they're signed to them, Alien Ant Farm. I've chatted to a bunch of bands actually on Judge and Jury. It's a really, really cool label, and you guys are just gonna fit in well as well. Has that collaboration changed at all with the creative or production process signing with these guys, or they're just like, you go for it, we know what
They
you're
let
doing?
us do whatever. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was my stipulation of signing to any label. I didn't care who it is. My husband has to be the one,
Yeah.
because you know I'm sure there's obviously hundreds of great producers out there, but like this is my husband's time to shine, and I don't care about anybody else getting that chance because they already had that. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
Russell's time. It's been a long time coming. And it sounds great because we've done it really well with Russell's sound. So why not bring it to the industry in front of industry professionals? And I can almost assure you that the owners of the label, one of them being Howard Benson, would probably not be okay with having some like no name producer have stuff like come out on their label, right? So I'm glad
Yeah.
that they allowed that. Um, and then, by the way, we may or may not have something coming out with 12 Stones in like a couple weeks. So
Yeah, yeah, Paul's a great guy.
yeah,
You go.
I don't know if he mentioned that to you. Probably not, but I don't know.
No,
Well, if you
It
You can
was
cut it out.
it was about a month or so ago anyway, so we wouldn't have released anything that needed not be released as well. The latest track, film clip Shades of Black, and we'll talk about that. It's amazing. The band's visuals and the music videos are clearly important as part of the visual storytelling as well. How important is that when you're bringing these songs to life?
Extremely. Like before we were
Yeah,
doing videos ourselves and we did a good job, but like just how like Russell's mixes are like like just insanely amazing and his music is just so the way he writes and the way he mixes, masters and produces music sounds amazing. We needed a cinematographer to capture that sound and put it into a visual. And we also still do our own video and we don't do a bad job, but like there's a massive difference between a professional cinematographer and then doing a music video yourself.
yeah, that Shades of Black is an amazing film clip, and it's different than when I was growing up. You're able to, put these work into these film clips and reach your audiences direct through YouTube as well, and kind of build a little bit of a following through those platforms. Not when I was growing up, it'd be like MTV and Rage, and MTV actually played film clips and shit like that.
We must be the same age because you talk about yeah, we're from the same era for sure. But uh, I was in like middle school in the early 2000s, 2001. I
Yeah.
was a baby.
Yeah, your music does speak very honestly, as we've discussed, about experiences as well that many people do struggle to talk about. Have you had any moments where fans reached out and shared how your music is connected with them?
A couple of times. A lot of the times they'll hop on our live stream and they'll tell me, and that makes me feel really good.
Yeah,
Um, and then I would love to be able to tour because that's actually something that I feel like would be so fulfilling for me to talk to these people in person and like hear what they have to say. That if I want to like outreach. I want to like meet our fans. I want to connect with people because that would make my whole day.
yeah.
I feel like.
So it's definitely on the cards. You guys had much of a chance to play live lately?
No, right now we're focused on this album and onboarding,
Yep,
but
yep.
it's gonna happen very soon.
Yeah, with the new single out and the album unfolding piece by piece, what excites you most about this next chapter for Lyric Noel?
That people finally get to see and hear me, my band, and my message for what it is, I guess. Like I've always had a vision and it's never been quite been able to be brought to life like as a whole, right?
Yeah,
So this will be my first like full length original album that I've ever released
yeah,
or
nice.
that
So
we have ever released.
yeah, that's really good. So everyone keep your bloody eyes and ears to Lyric Noel. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff. So if someone's discovering your music for the first time through a song like Shades of Black and hopefully through the originals and working their way through, what do you hope they feel or take away from the music?
I don't know. That's a good question. People ask me that question. My answer is usually like whatever purpose it needed to serve at that time for that specific person, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Music's so subjective. We all
It
feel
is
something from it. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, that's it. That's why I
So
can't handle when people like we're talking about the keyboard warriors, people complaining. It's like the music's so subjective. It's such a personal thing. Just because I'm playing something different than you doesn't, you know what I mean? I'm gonna get to. I love listening to Sleep Token. There's nothing like it. But, more power to
I
me for it.
know.
If you don't like listening to them, whatever. Go listen to something
I
else. Why
know.
complain about it? As a media journalist, it infuriates me. I'm like one of the few people in media that like avoids that like kind of negative discussion as well. Just because you don't understand something, don't tear down the vision. Crank it up bloody loud.
I know. The sleep token hate is so obnoxious. I swear. It's
Oh.
just gives I don't know. Like it's a jealousy thing in my opinion, and I'm sorry, but not everybody wants to listen to Slayer for eternity. And I have one other thing to say, and you've probably seen this on the internet so many times, but it's true. No one hates metal more than metalheads, and they want to
Ah,
complain the
yeah,
most about everything.
yeah.
And you know, I've been one of my favorite bands actually is Parkway Drive. I know you are very familiar with Parkway.
Yes.
They're one of my favorites. I used to love I Killed the Prom Queen. I saw that they're touring again, so that's really cool.
Yes.
But Sleep Token even took over my love for Parkway. I mean, I still love Parkway, but um,
You hit the
I just
nail on the head on I killed the prom queen as well. They just played through. Amazing.
I'm so excited to see that they're doing stuff again. I didn't know if they stopped or like what, but like I did see their name pop up on something recently, and I was like, holy crap. So yeah, but Parkway Drive defined my 20s for sure.
And a side note, they've just played. I think they've played or they're playing at the Blues Fest. You mentioned blues music as well. They're like the first heavy metal band to play. I think Byron Blues Fest in New South Wales.
God, I love them. I freaking love them. I really wish they would tour over here again. Like I saw them. Oh God, it was 2023. It was the year me and Russell got married. It was February 2023. And I was this close to meeting Winston McCall. I was so excited. And he was about 10 feet away from me, maybe less. And his tour manager made them like they're like, all right, guys, wrap it up. We're done. And I'm like, the fuck? So I was really upset that I didn't get to meet him. I was this close.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
whatever. It is what it is. Maybe we'll tour with them one day.
That's
That
what
would
I
be
was
a
thinking one day. That would be amazing. Lyric Noel with Parkway Drive. Let's make this happen. Everyone get out there, go crank the latest music. The latest single is Shades of Black. Lyric, thank you so much for having the time to chat with us today.
of
Everyone, as I
course.
mentioned, the latest single is out through Judge and Jury Records. It does mark the beginning of what sounds like a very powerful and deeply personal album still to come later this year. And I'm looking forward to it myself, listening to it all as well. So make sure you check it out and keep an eye out and ear out for everything Lyric Noel has coming next year. Lyric, last word, shout outs, thank yous are all on you, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much for having us. Like, or me, really. Like, this was a fun one. I really enjoyed talking with you. I also love and want to go to Australia so bad one day. I've never been, so I love listening to y'all talk. I
I
always say that people from Australia sound like Texans, but with a little bit of a British accent mixed in. So, like, you're half me.
Damn straight, everyone make it happen. Everyone grab some Lyric Noel, crank it loud. The neighbours are going to want to hear it too. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Have a